Welcome back! I am here with another 5-minute message for you today. My name is Brian Steele, and I have the privilege of being the pastor at St. Paul United Methodist Church in Bloomfield Hills and Hazel Park United Methodist Church. 2 days ago, I talked about how the younger generations, especially my millennials, find the church lacking in authenticity. Today I want to spend a few minutes talking about what we can do about that. Now, I don't have a step-by-step guide on how to be more authentic. I don't think that actually exists. So for all these super practical people out there, which I appreciate, I'm not going to give you surefire solutions, learning to live an authentic life within our spirituality and beyond. It's not always it's not a step-by-step process. And that's kind of the point. Because I think it's less about what we do to become authentic and more about who we're learning to become. It's a change in our mindset that's needed. It's a change, a development of how we approach relationships. Embracing our humanity is what priest and author Henry Nouwen calls a wounded healer. Now, ironically, even though we're talking about becoming more authentic in this new day and age for younger generations, wounded healing, or the term being a wounded healer, has been around since the 70s. This is not some new age idea. But it's still just as relevant because it speaks to the human condition. Essentially, being a wounded healer means that we embrace the wounds we've experienced in life, whether they're self-inflicted by our own decisions or wounds from others. And that those wounds that we embrace, that we walk toward instead of trying to just pretend don't exist, those are the sources of healing. Those are the type of spiritual leadership that others need. And friends, this is what Jesus himself did. If you just look at the story with him and Thomas, Jesus was the ultimate wounded healer, allowing Thomas to share in his wounds that he had. Jesus didn't avoid his wounds, and neither do we. We integrate them into our lives. And when we do that, or when we're learning to do that, because I'm not sure if we ever can really fully arrive at that, but as we are doing that, a new level of authenticity is born. And that's what the younger generations need to see from the church. Not people who have their act perfectly together, although we're called to live transformed lives and God's grace equips us to do that. But they need people who are also willing to journey alongside them, who don't shun their own wounds and pretend like they're perfect people who have never been hurt. When we in the church are willing to share our wounds, others become more willing to share theirs. And when we share our wounds like Jesus shared his, that's what transforms lives. And that is what the church is about. I mentioned the late Rachel Held Evans in my last message. And Rachel also wrote this about her own faith journey and what she found meaningful. You can get a cup of coffee with your friends anywhere. But the church is the only place you can get ashes smudged on your forehead as a reminder of your mortality. You can be dazzled by a light show at a concert on any given weekend, but church is the only place that fills a sanctuary with candlelight and hymns on Christmas Eve. You can snag all sorts of free swag for brand loyalty online, but church is the only place where you are named a beloved child of God with a cold plunge into the water. You can share food with the hungry at any homeless shelter, but only the church teaches that a shared meal brings us into the very presence of God. That's being a wounded healer. And that's what can transform us. We can be wounded healers because our God is a wounded healer. The man we follow is a wounded healer. And that is the result of a God who loves us more than all of the other good words. So friends, God does love you. And there's nothing you can do about it, wounds and all. Alright, we'll see you next week with another batch of 5-minute messages. Be well and take care.